Chapter 19. Art.
Science resolves and limits. I solve and don't limit. Science does what it wants. I do what is. Religion is not to be taken seriously. Science is not to be taken seriously. Behold these forms of expression, like art in its purest and most naive state. This art form is like playing. And play is the only thing you should take seriously. When we look for merit, it's not what the person says or might say that brings recognition and authority, but instead, what is done, and how it's done. If you have recognition and authority, just with what you say, then the merit is greater in your followers because they tackle the difficult task of listening to, and following those, without merit. If any artist has enough exposure, in terms of broadcasting, of course, there will be success. Because, the larger the display, the better to create a niche or a division. Will it be possible, not to meet the expectations of an audience, created, or already existing, and still succeed? What is the meaning of art? And what is the artist's merit? Could it be that the merit is in the end, to reach the greatest number of people? That would mean, that most people are similar in their appreciation of things, when there is an artist bringing them together, under the purview of his artistic work. Ergo, in this crowd, there are some that under the right conditions, similar art they will produce, equal or superior to any artist they praise. What is the merit of the artist, when the merit is not exclusive? An artist who talks about what people don't want to hear, doesn't sell. A true artist thinks differently when faced with this praise. The praise, that he is a great artist, and that there needs to be more artists like him. To which the true artist will respond, no. There needs to be more people like you, the admirer. So, the true artist and the admirer, they come close in size, with the universe. An artist expresses himself when he creates a work of art, but deep down, he doesn't know what he created. Because of the pressure of other people, and by the pressure of his own ego, will the artist define what he conjured. But, in fact, each one will interpret the work in its own way, and in the process, the viewer will be recreating the piece of art. Art is the expression co-created by the observer. When the viewer observes the created art, and recognizes it as such, the observer closes creation with the golden key. If the observer does not recognize the creation as art, then he himself is not an artist. Being an artist is recognizing that someone bestowed an emotional expression on the carefully crafted work. And in case the worker is a machine or the clouds, the expression of infinity. To be an artist on the observer's side, is to be empathic with who started the phenomenological part, that is, to be understanding, with the person who performed the work. Machines automatically execute the work. But they are not yet concerned with the ultimate question of whether it is art or not. They'll do it when the so-called artificial consciousness is created. But who will recognize that machines have a conscience? It's the human being, the observer, that will close the phenomenological action of creating artificial consciousness with the golden key. A true artist, in essence, in its true and sublime art, is to recognize that there is art in everything. This is art with capital A. Art is love, because art contemplates the union of the observed and the observer. The two parts will have to converge, so that art can be created, so that love can manifest. In the future, entertainment will be more and more abundant, and less valuable, as an exchange unit. As abundant as air. But as necessary as air. And, because of that, one will almost not notice its presence. So will be God, in the future. Now, everything is entertainment of a future, playing the past. An authentic work of art. When we get on a train, and we don't know where we're going, it's because we're lost, or we're going on an adventure. It's like God who gets lost, to go on an adventure. What is lost? Lost is, to create the meeting, now. Inspiration is the visualization of how things are, before we act on creation. This is because, when we observe a landscape, we see the pure creativity of the universe. Likewise, so it is for a picture to be painted. When the meeting is wide open for inspiration, it's a compromising look at the landscape of the mind, that comes from the landscape of the experienced universe, that created the ecosystem of being who I am. And that, finally, will give the personal touch to the work being created. You can hear the most harmonious singing, you can feel the most chilling touch, you can taste the most fulfilling sweetness, you can smell the deepest aroma, and you can even see the stars exploding. But when a woman is beautiful, it's the most beautiful thing in the universe. When you like women, that is. Let them be men in other cases even. Embedded in the making of all things, in everything and everyone, impossible to be absent, dependent on the different consciences. Beauty is, in fact, the most appreciated feature in all existences. As it is the most appreciated, it is the most used foreign currency, and the most estranged estate. But when you have it, greed takes over and the track of interest is lost. Give it back, set it free. When beauty is beautiful, we even deny freedom. In all, intrinsic, but interpreted by each one, that's why, among all, it's the less profane arcane. Adapted to the environment, the living beings that biologists have reconciled. To formulate the idea of evolution in the mind, we can also outlook from another perspective. The various creatures are the site's manifestation, it is as if an artistic expression. Converging from the fruit, the soil, and the climate, to give rise to this casuistic creature. It is as if the spirit of the place was adding to itself, materializing the materialization in the form of speciation, on a deer, a jaguar, or a falcon. And in the same way, our opinions are the confluence of our entire experience, of the various places where we went through. They are spirits whose substance are just words. I really can't complain. In fact, I can complain, but it will always be, as reciting poetry. The only theory that doesn't need updating, is that we will never describe everything. A theory that takes the poetry out of things, takes the breath away to live, and turns out useless. Here's an example of a theory that doesn't take the breath away. Looking at the stars is poetry without words. Just suspension points all over the sky.
Thank you for listening to the end. Support this work if you liked it. You can buy the book on Amazon, where you can download the digital copy and have the physical book delivered to your address. Look for seasonal promotions and discounts.